Welcome. I am the real Sun, and this is Voice of Purpose. Man, live TV is hard. I've been telling you, it's my first time. I'm like sweating bullets over here, but hopefully it doesn't show. If it didn't, it does now. But anyways, welcome. I have my first guest here with me, Raja Michelle. And I'm actually really excited to have this conversation with her. I spoke with her briefly a few months ago, I think. We connected through a mutual friend, Lydia, and we were having a conversation centered around some of the work that you do, some of the work that I do, and just found so many synchronicities and so many things that aligned for us in terms of our conversation about what is purpose, yes. Right? And the understanding that we all have a true purpose. At least, you know, folks like yourself and myself, we agree that that is the case. And so I had this idea of having more conversations like that, you know. And so after that conversation, I kept on having conversations with other people about, okay, well, what is your purpose? What is the nature of what our purpose is? And what's the journey to get there? How do we know what our purpose is? And once we know, what is that journey of taking that dive? You know? So welcome.
Thank you.
Raja.
Thank you.
How are you feeling today?
Doing very well. I'm so excited to be here as well and talk about a subject like this because it's dear and close to my heart.
Yeah. So for those of you that are joining us, Raja Michelle, she's a registered acupuncturist, and she has also studied in molecular genetics as well, which is like that bridge between those two is something that really interests me about the nature of holistic healing medicine, and then the very scientific field of studying genetics on a molecular level, and also the conversation around spirituality that you bring in. Yes. With your book, Shift to Shine.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about, well, first of all, you have found your purpose in life, I'm guessing, have you?
I did.
Yes.
I did. And I've been following it for some time now. Yeah.
Yeah. What is that? What do you feel that is, and what has your journey been to it so far?
It hasn't been an easy journey, if we just start by saying that, because people sometimes think that, oh my goodness, you know what, I know what I want to do, I'm going to go do it, and they expect that everything is going to fall in place, and like you'll have like, you know, the best in the world, right? Everything is happening. In fact, sometimes following your life purpose is not as easy as we think, and that is why people stay in their comfort zone and they take the path of least resistance, because going into your life purpose and doing what you are supposed to do on earth is not the easiest thing.
There's definitely a lot of resistance from people.
Yes.
You know, once you realize, because I think, you know, for myself, when I came into that path of purpose, there was some doubt. There's always the doubt,
yes.
Right? There's always the doubt from yourself, and then there's the doubt from people that are close to you,
yes.
That sometimes tell you to be realistic.
Yes.
And for people, when you really connect to that place of knowing, tends to be really big dreams, right? Big things.
Yeah.
So what was your dream? What was the thing that really sparked
So let me take
for
you back to my previous life, I want to say, before my life purpose, and then there's the life after that, right? So I was trained as a molecular geneticist and a neuroscientist. I worked in the sensory cortex of the brain, trying to understand how neurons make connections. And
which cortex?
The sensory cortex.
Oh, sensory cortex. So the one that picks up all
picks up on all the emotions, the textures,
like
when
sight,
you touch something,
the smell, the taste.
Yes. So I worked with these, like how tactile information can be processed in the brain, and what affects it and prevent it from expressing itself the way it is. So with that, like I did my doctorate at Dalhousie University. I'm from Halifax, and I was trained for years in that, and I've been trained all my life in the logical and analytical mind. So I'm a researcher, I'm a scientist, right?
Yes.
And then
in the lab.
So I was always in that field.
Yeah.
Show me something, you know, and prove it, and I had that inquisitive
Yeah, the
thing.
inquisitive mind.
Always inquisitive mind. I want
question of
answers
why.
and why, right?
Yes, yes.
And I like challenges, actually. I accept them and welcome them in my life. So that was all until I finished my doctorate, did my postdoc again at Dalhousie, and then I moved on to run a diagnostic lab as well at Capital Health in Nova Scotia. And I was a professor at Dalhousie, so I was working still in that field until the time came when I got very, very sick and I could not work anymore. I had a great job, great career.
The universe,
exactly.
disrupting things. Yeah, hello, knock, knock,
Knock,
here.
knock. Well, you know what? You're not doing what you're supposed to do. So
Yeah,
here,
right?
there you go.
Exactly. Tell me about it. I'm going through that right now. Anyways,
You're
let's
going
talk
through
about
it?
you.
Oh,
Yes.
I went through this 10 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is when I said, oh my goodness, like, why is all of this happening? So all of a sudden, I couldn't even function, couldn't get out of bed. I was diagnosed with depression. I couldn't look after my family and my children at that time. So I had a lot of complications, physical issues. I lost my memory as well.
Wow.
So there were a lot of effects. So that's why today I advocate a lot and I talk about stress and how we need to manage stress.
How long was this period of time when you were going through this? Sounds like a crisis
it
type of
takes a
mode.
long time before it manifests, right?
Yes.
But it took me 2 full years before I was able to get back on track.
So
and
2 years
balance
of being sick.
being sick.
Oh, wow.
And that was the time when we were looking like, using medication, try to find, I went on a path and a journey of finding something that would help without,
heal.
and not just help heal as well, prevent it.
Yes.
Because we can prevent this if we really listen.
Absolutely.
To
Absolutely. When you're tuned into
you're
yourself,
true. Exactly.
you know what your body
exactly.
needs. That really interests me because that was very similar to my own path.
Oh, yeah.
Is not the sickness part.
Yes.
But just the understanding that intrinsic in evolving ourselves forward as a species, there is a process of healing that needs to take place, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
in the modulation between kind of living in the matrix, if you will,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Living in the modern routine kind of assembly line existence that, unfortunately, a good chunk of the world, if not majority or most people, live in on a routine
Yes,
basis.
yes.
When you realize, kind of come to an awakening of what is this environment that I'm in and the
Yes.
life that I'm living, if you realize you're on that conveyor belt piece, there's a piece of healing, I think, that needs to take place before we can fully step into our
Exactly.
true purpose, because the systems that we are raised in are inherently very poisonous in a sense. There's a lot of
They're
toxicity.
suppressing, right?
Yeah.
Because we are all born intuitive, right? And we
Yes.
have that ability.
Yes, at
so
birth,
we can
absolutely.
listen to that inner guidance. But our programming, the culture around us, it keeps telling us something else. And as time goes by, we start not to trust our own innate guidance and
Yes.
ourself and deviate from that path, right? So, and that is exactly what I put in Shift to Shine. So Shift to Shine is a book about bridging science and intuition.
Yes, this
So
is the part that really interests me. Yes.
Yeah, being that healer that moved from being the professor, the director, doing the research, all of that kind of work, and now moving to more and more to the intuitive mind. Sometimes I joke and I say I'm the only one that have both left and right hemisphere working.
This is the bridge, right? The bridge. So tell me about the bridge.
Exactly.
Like,
So
where does
that's
the bridge? Where does it take place, though? Like, where does the space of molecular genetics on a neuroscience level, right, in terms of the science of the chemistry that happens within the brain, and the functions of our physical bodies, as it were, and the relationship between that and intuition and understanding of spirit, and where do those two worlds meet? How does that happen?
You know what? Actually, physically,
Yes.
the brain, we have the right and the left hemisphere, right?
Yes.
And there is a corpus callosum, that fiber
Corpus
that
callosum.
connects the left and the right hemisphere, right? So I'm just talking about the physical
Yeah,
level now.
yes.
But when you talk about the way I put it in the book, because I'm sure you heard that everyone tells you that we store memories in our DNA,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so we store memories in our DNA. And then what?
Which, by the way, that may be a new concept for some of our viewers, that we have memories stored in our cells
at the molecular level.
On a molecular level.
Right. So that's why you find a lot of talk now about mindset and how with your mind over matter and how we change the mind, you change the matter.
Absolutely.
So all of that, right?
And if I can just segue for just a moment, I think that piece right there is really powerful to kind of come to an understanding that we carry generational memory,
like memory,
right?
Karma,
generational trauma, generational
yeah.
experiences.
Yes.
You know, on a genetic level, you can tell that you get features from your mom and your dad and your family tree on a very physical level.
Yes.
But the fact that our consciousness of memory, of pain and of joy also exists on a molecular genetic level. That explains so much.
But you know what I've done in this book as well?
Yeah.
I took it one step further.
Absolutely.
Because I'm trained in molecular genetics.
Yes.
And I'm trained in energy medicine. I've been training for 10 years in it, and I'm still always, it's a process, right? So what I have done in this book, I took some principles from the genetics world. For example, like genetics and epigenetics. You know, you inherit certain genes from your parents, right? But at the same time, you know that the environment changes the expression of those genes at the physical level, right? So that's one thing, right? And then I took other principles, what we inherit, what we don't, what the culture give us, and all of that. So I drew in from my own life experience. I went back into my life and looked at all the experiences. What have affected my life the most? And not just me, the patients that I treated over the years, the clients that I saw, what messages, what the Spirit has.
And in essence, through those experiences, changing your genetic makeup.
That's
evolving, literally evolving yourself on a molecular genetic level.
But I'm talking even at a deep level, because
that's not deep enough? Okay, there's more. Okay. We'll go deeper.
You're going to like this.
Yes.
So why I'm talking about a deeper level? Because a lot of people, they know, okay, the DNA, we can release them. There's a lot of energy medicine out there and light worker that work with this and change that, right? But then if we do this, why is it still certain experiences come back into our lives? So what's happening there, right?
The cycles.
Even when you work on it, the cycle, is emotional connection, right?
Yeah.
And I think mostly the way I think about things, because of my training in Chinese medicine. So Chinese is big on energy.
Yes.
And I have 5 years of training in medical Qigong therapy. I have a master's in it. And that is the acupuncture, father of acupuncture, where it all started. And in it, the philosophy is that diseases occur in energetic patterns. So if you do not change the energetic pattern of a disease, then you are not right? Then you are still not going to be able to change the disease that you have, the disharmony.
The physical body, and also in your
even at the conscious
level, on a conscious your life,
level.
Your relationships.
So that's why I'm telling you, so I went to that level. So I looked at, for example, one of the energies, so I gave them psychological energetic genes. So psychological because they are stored in our psyche.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we don't release them, even if you work at the molecular level, but everything starts at the spiritual and the emotional and the energetic level. It just manifests
so if I can
at
give
the
maybe
physical level after years of imbalances.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
And also, I think we can observe the same phenomenon, and correct me if I'm wrong, in our social relationships too, where sometimes we have certain tendencies to attract certain types of people into our lives based on the energy that we hold, based on the outlook we have on life, based on our life experiences and what we are constantly reliving. So sometimes I've noticed in my own life and in the lives of, you know, people I know and my friends and colleagues that sometimes you will have the same type of relationship. Different faces, different places, but it's the same dynamics that come to
what I call
washing
it
machine.
Usually, it's the same energy, different physicality. Right?
That's it.
It's the same energy. If you look at all the people you attract in your life, let's say if our audience or our viewers, they're having some issues that's happening in their lives, right? Just sit back. Look at all the people, if they're all negative people or someone is annoying you or whatever is the reason, right? And if you look at all of them, and you'll find certain energetic traits. So now I'm going to talk about energy level. Like we talk about physical traits, you may attract the same person, the same look, the same whatever, right? But now if you look at the energetic traits, are they all kind? Are they all like what kind
abusive,
of energy?
Or like, you know,
what
terrible
kind
people?
Of energy, did you attract?
Did you attract?
And that's why they're coming into your life, right? They're coming to help you evolve and grow from there.
To better know
so you can be a better person.
Yes.
So you can find that true you.
Well, you know, it's really hard to learn that lesson, isn't it, though?
It's very tough.
Then it's like, you know, you understand that, okay, I've had like 17 abusive relationships in a row. What do I do about that? Like, how do you break out of that?
But you know what? That's why we're talking about life purpose. Because, and I wrote about that in the book. There's a chapter I talked about being a victor and not a victim. Because I understand this very well because I was in relationships like this with my husbands, right? And until you get to a point where you realize, you know what? No, I'm not a victim, and I can get out of this. That is when things start changing. But you cannot do that when you're immersed in the physical world the way you are. Like you're so stressed out, you're busy running around between work, children, doing activities. So there is no time for me. No time for me to sit down, calm the mind, to relax, to enjoy, to connect with me, not connect with everyone out there. So at the end of the day, following your life purpose is all about connecting to the true you. How to do that? This is what I have in the book as well.
And this is what the whole show is about, is that journey.
Because you need to give people tools, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm a big believer in baby steps. Like it took me 10 years to get to where I am, and I'm still learning, and I'm still on this journey. And I'm guided different ways, right? So this is what I think the most important part that our viewers need to understand, that it's a journey.
It is a journey.
There is no end goal. It's a journey. Once you reach your one goal, there's another goal that you go towards, right?
Okay.
And you have to be very patient. And you have to have a resilience,
absolutely.
Because it's not the easiest thing. If it was easy, all of us, we would have followed our life purpose, right?
I think it can get easier. It's almost
a lot
like
easier.
Practicing a habit when you're used to kind of a certain set of habits. They become automatic once in a while. And there's certain habits that we can practice, like holding a positive thought at the beginning of the day. The very first thought that you have, make sure it's a positive thought when you wake up. You know, and when
affirmations, you know, meditations, because that's how you lift your energy. You go to higher levels, right? Stress, anxiety, depression, any of these emotions, fear, because fear played a huge role in my life, and that's why I talk about it in the book. Anger, the poverty mentality, I talk about that, right?
Well, and I think for folks that have and are living in poverty, you know, I am not exclusive to that either. You know, I've definitely been through that situation as well, and it's really difficult to hold a space of abundant thought in your mind when all you're used to seeing is lack. You know, when you're seeing a lack of resources, you're seeing a lack of support, you're seeing a lack of, you know, your basic things that you need to survive, and the constant struggle that comes along with
Yes.
not having enough material things to not even just be fancy and all those things, but just your
Just the basics, yes,
the
yes.
basics. So to exist in a space where that is the current reality, and then to shift to shine in the space of your mind to holding thoughts of abundance is difficult, but not impossible.
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible,
But
and
that's
very
why I'm
possible. It
talking
takes
about
practice.
patience
Yes.
and resilience.
Amazing.
You need the two. Because if you're not patient and you want today to get everything you want, and you have wealth and health and abundance and everything, maybe that's not the universe plan for you,
And
right?
faith that it's gonna come.
And that's, I talk about faith as well in the book. Trust is a big thing. Because like, okay, no, I want this, right? And then when it doesn't happen, you lose trust and you worry
Absolutely.
about things not happening. But what brings me back always, because I'm not immune to any of this as well. I go through my cycles.
Of course, we all
Because
do.
following your path purpose is not easy, right? Like I said. But what gets you there is believing in your message, believing in what you do, doing it out of passion. You're passionate about it. You want really to help others. Like for me,
And that's a
I want to
clue.
help others,
That's
right?
a clue, right?
Yes.
If you're in a space where maybe you are on that daily grind of the routine,
Yes.
and you have no idea what your purpose is in life, and never
Yes.
perhaps ask this question of yourself. One thing I always tell folks that are kind of in that boat is to pay attention
Yes.
to what you feel passionate about. We all feel passionate about some
True.
things,
True.
right? And so it's about being aware enough in your own self-awareness
Yes.
to notice when you get lit up, to notice
True.
when you feel those moments of passion and the hours go by and you have no idea, how that time passed, because
Yes,
you're just
yes.
immersed in that
Exactly,
feeling of
exactly.
feeling good. So before we wrap this
But
session,
that's one thing, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is, I tell you, if anyone want to follow their life purpose, they have to feel happy about it, elated, expanded, and that's how you know you're on the right track. So that and
Absolutely.
passion, add the two together, you found your life purpose.
amazing.
That's it.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And so your book is
Yes.
available
On Amazon.
On Amazon.
Yeah, you can find the link as well on my website.
Yeah.
rajamichelle.com.
Okay.
You can email me, like any of these social media on Facebook.
Absolutely,
I'm on
absolutely.
LinkedIn, Twitter, so people can reach me and with any of these means that I just mentioned about.
Amazing.
And
you
just
also
live a
do
life.
private practice? Do you do private practice as well as an
yes,
acupuncturist?
I do, yeah, as an acupuncturist.
Yep.
I also do the energy healing, like I said, because I'm
Absolutely.
an intuitive healer. So and a nutrition, holistic nutrition. So I merge everything. So my goal is, in the way I'm helping people, again, it's the holistic approach.
The
So I
holistic
help with the
approach.
physical body, the emotional, the spiritual, and the energetic, and help people shift them from where they are to where they want to be, so they can shine.
To
Because it's
shine.
all about shining that light within,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
Show it to the world.
Yes. Shine your light.
Shine,
Shine your light,
shine.
everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Raja. And
Thanks a
I look forward to seeing you continue to shine. You're an
Thank you.
inspiration. Thank you so much for
Thanks
being
a
on
lot,
the show.
and thank you for having me on this show.
Absolutely.
I'm honored. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.